See how it goes. The other one did not work.
Are you gonna cancel?
Yeah, we just started again, so it's fine. We can just continue watching because the first one it did not work.
Okay. One of the topics I want to talk about.
We just started again.
I wrote it down so I don't
It's
forget.
fine. We can just continue. Okay, okay. Since we are live, we are live here already. But I don't see the way it got an. Okay. So, okay. Yes, so everybody's sorry for that. Fish.
Yes,
Yeah.
sorry for that.
Okay. Let's
So,
just.
I'm taking this the volume, make sure it's not too loud, because then I can't even hear the words.
We're watching first. Anything to the stuff. Okay, let me see. Let's watch this video. Why there's no sound?
So slavery has made a major impact where the low self-esteem is consistently reoccurring. I think for me, growing up in Los Angeles, California in the early 1960s, there was a stereotype that I didn't want to be black, I didn't want to be African because we come from Africa or we're slaves. So I want to be a Chinese boy, I want to be Bruce Lee. So growing up like that, I didn't like myself and who I was. I didn't like the color of my skin or the way that I spoke. So I emulated other people. I wanted to be something that I was not.
It's very saddening when you can literally only go back a couple generations and then it's like the documents just don't exist. There's no record. It's like, my family has completely been
I think there's
erased.
something wrong with
In that same point too, in the time that we've been here, we've created an
Okay.
incredible culture and we have so many things to be proud of. And I always reframe the narrative myself and I speak of my ancestors that were enslaved as, doctors and healers. And it's like, we were taken because we were talented,
Right.
because we had skills to offer. And we built this country, so.
And still building.
And still building, and that's something to take pride in, so.
Can they disagree a step forward?
Slavery didn't affect my family, but we did suffer different type of slavery back home. Like we went through colonization. Like I am Bamileke.
Okay, let's pause first and then let's talk about the fact, the way these guys say, slavery como affect na familia yake.
First, let's pause. Tuongee kuhusu gisi huyu amesema slavery haiko affect his family.
Yeah, sababu why anasema hivyo but kwa yeye amesema hivyo.
Why he said that is because
yeye kivyake yeye kuma affect.
He himself, it did not affect his family specifically.
Kwangu mimi ilini affect.
To me, it affected me.
Because you gotta understand. Kuko some place in Africa.
There are some places in Africa.
My village.
Like my village.
Kuna mali walishika watu.
There are places where they captured people.
My grandfather wetu alishikiwa hiyo place iko as a history tunakuanga naisoma.
My grandfather was captured in that village and we learn it through our history.
So the idea kusema slavery haiko affect African.
And the idea of saying slavery didn't affect Africans.
Some of people.
Some people.
Some of us slavery to affect.
Slavery affected some of us.
Yeah, so that's the point ninataka kuongea. So
that is the point I'm trying to
so
make.
kuna some Africans.
There are some Africans.
Slavery haikuwa affect.
Who slavery did not affect.
And kuna some of us slavery to affect.
And there are some of us who slavery affected.
Oh yeah, so that's the point I wanna just make it clear.
That right there is the point I wanted to make clear.
So let's see what he's gonna say this.
A massacre of Bamileke, you guys can look it up. They killed more than 300,000 of my people because we didn't want to assimilate to the French culture. But it's still nothing compared to what you guys' ancestor like been through, you know?
I wouldn't want to minimize that pain, though. What you just said hurt me, that 300,000 people were killed because they would not conform to the colonization of the French people. So that is just as painful and hurtful as the trauma that we suffered here in America.
I can't share the same experience that you have went through and your family, even though we also had our own type of slavery. We had apartheid at the time, you know, where the Dutch people took over and they wanted to just have South Africa, Namibia, and I think other countries where we could only just speak Dutch. It's somehow still happening even now. There's like a place in South Africa where it's called Orania, you know, and it's just Dutch people there. No black person is even allowed there. So we still somehow feel that oppression.
And that's the other thing. Some people, they have to understand.
Hicho ndo kitu kingine chenye kuna watu inabidi waelewe.
Kuna watu wengine slavery kwa affect.
There are some people whom slavery did not affect.
Lakini kuna wengine parte inangaiki na affect until now.
And there are those whom it still affects till today.
Kuko watu wenyewe wanakaa same place. Like, let me give you a good example.
There are some people that stay in certain places. I'll give you an example.
Kwa mfano Kenya.
For example, Kenya.
Kuko race ya taenda kama Chinese.
There are Chinese people.
Wako na restaurant in Kenya. You can look it up.
They have, you said wrestling?
Yeah, restaurant.
They have a restaurant there.
Yeah, restaurant allowed only Chinese.
That restaurant only allows Chinese people.
Imagine uko in your own country.
Imagine you're in your own country.
Uko Afrika.
In Africa.
Kwenye umezaliwa.
Where you were born.
Mtu amekuja na fungua restaurant.
Someone came from another country and opened a restaurant.
Akisha ile restaurant nakwambia.
And then they tell you that restaurant.
We African.
You as an African.
Iko mwinchi yako.
Are in your country.
Are allowed kukula ndani ama kuingia mwenye hotel.
And you're not allowed to eat in that restaurant
so,
or to go in.
Trust me, kitu iko hadi sahi na exist.
And believe me or not, that still exists till
so
today.
So kuna wengine hawezi relate na slavery.
There are those who can't relate to slavery.
Lakini kuna wengine na relate ile pate.
There are those who can relate to that part.
Hiyo mali ya mtu anakuja mcheno anataka take over.
The part of someone coming into your country and
so I just want to point that point too.
Just wanted to point that out.
Acha tuendelee kuangalia.
No, but it's nothing compared to what your ancestral history, you know, has gone through. I'm somehow happy that you guys have forgiven it, even though you haven't forgotten it. Have you forgiven it? I mean, like your face, like.
Do that, but me personally, no, I haven't. But I want to work through the change. But no, I have not forgiven because it's a system that's still going on. And from what I'm hearing from you guys, there's a system that's still going on in Africa as well, and it's a war on us.
That's what I say. That's
Racism
the truth.
is the main cause of poverty among black people in America.
Racism is a very big issue that, talking about it, I'm really trying to be careful to not like say anything that will be insensitive. If opportunity is right here, they will give it to people of other race than African American and Africans too.
Yes, that's the other point I want to point out, and that's the thing.
Yes, that's another point I wanted to point out.
Hiyo kitu iko sana.
That is something that happens a lot.
Which is something wandugu wetu wa sisi wa Afrika to understand.
Which is something us Africans don't understand.
To understand kuko kitu inaitwa kama race bias.
We don't understand that there is racial bias.
Yani mtu anaweza kukatalia kitu kutokana na tuseme aje muonekano.
Someone can deny you something based off your race.
So kwa that part,
so that part,
hiyo part iko kabisa.
That part is very true.
Na njoo hiyo part, hiyo narrative iko community yetu ya Afrika.
And that right there is the narrative that's in the African community.
Ya kusema African American ni wavivu watumikagi.
The narrative that African Americans are lazy and they don't like to work.
Hawapendi kazi.
They don't like to work.
Ni kushinda kuunderstand wanataka kazi lakini hawakubaliwi kufanya hizo kazi.
We misunderstand that it's that they want a job but they aren't hired.
Ni mtu iko na qualification yote lakini kuko mtu mwenye iko na jina nzuri mbele yako.
There are black people who have the qualifications, but because the other person ahead of them has a better name,
iko na jina yenyewe,
they have a name.
Mtu akishasema,
when someone pronounces it,
itakuwa rahisi mtu kujifeel like aogopi.
It'll be easier for someone to pronounce without
so
fear.
unapata mtu anaitwa lombolombo.
So you find someone named Lombo Lombo.
Hiyo jina inakuwa kama is very hard mtu kumkubalia hiyo mtu anaitwa na jina lombolombo.
That name seems to be very hard for someone to pronounce.
That's the same thing.
That's the same thing.
Inafanya watu.
That causes people.
Inafanya mtu.
That causes someone.
Anakuwa apart the same opportunity kama mwingine.
That's what causes a black person to not get the same opportunities.
Before kwa mimi nianze kutumika.
Before I started working,
nilikuwa nasikia narrative wanasema African American hawawezi kazi.
I used to hear the narrative that African Americans can't work.
But the moment nilienda kukazi,
but the moment I went to work,
the moment nikakuwa na makao na nakatumika na African American,
the moment I saw my coworkers and I worked with African Americans,
what I understand in the moment,
what I understood in the moment,
kwa kazi ukijifanya uko na nguvu unatumika kazi una work hard.
At work, if you work too hard and you show yourself off as a hard worker,
remember kuna watu uko na believe mtu mweusi akwangi na choka.
Remember there are those who believe black people don't get tired.
Kuna watu wana believe mtu mweusi akwangi na feel pain.
There are those who believe that black people don't feel pain.
Wakati una work hard,
so when you work hard,
in the entire wote my employee,
compared to all the other employees,
wanaanza sasa kudepend kazi zote wewe uifanye.
They start to depend on you to do all the jobs.
So kwa mfano ukitumika dishwasher,
for example, if you work as a dishwasher,
wanataka ufanye dishwasher na uende ukorope at the same time.
They want you to be a dishwasher and mop at the same time.
And wanataka na uende uoshe macho.
They also want you to go clean the bathroom.
Lakini wengine uko pale tu wanasikia muziki.
While everybody else is just there using their phones and listening to music.
African American washanga understand that part.
So black Americans have understood that part.
Sasa sisi wa Afrika tukifika hukazi,
so when us Africans go to work,
sisi tuko na ile tunataka kutumike kazi,
since we want to work,
tunatumika tu kazi ni kazi.
We just work and work
hata
and work.
kupatia kazi gani au complain tu unafanya.
No matter what job they give
sasa
you.
Sasa yeye Mwafrican American shaona ni kitu gani anafanya, yeye atafanya hivyo.
So a black American person already knows not to.
So ukijamwona pale directly ushaenda kwa stereotype ni mvivu.
So when you see a black American person there, you automatically assume that they're lazy.
Au tayari ushasuma hawezi kazi.
Or you automatically assume that they can't work.
Na but hiyo sio reality.
But that is not the reality.
Reality ni wanaweza kazi.
The reality is they can work.
Ni vile tu wana understand wakidifanya wanaweza kazi wataonewa.
It's the fact that if they show off that they are good at their job, they're going to be taken advantage of.
Sisi Afrika tujua kama wanaweza kuchukua advantage.
But us in Africa, we don't know that someone can take
advantage. Tunaona tu ninatumika kazi niko na nguvu au nyingine hawana nguvu.
We just see it as I'm the stronger one and these other people are lazy.
But reality ni vile tu atujui. Unapatanga Mwafrika.
But the reality is, you come to find an African person.
Unampata kwa kazi wako na abuse lakini hawezi jua.
You find them at work getting abused, but they wouldn't know.
Because wanaona tu ni bora tu atumike kazi asiongee aiweke moyo.
Because an African person would rather just work a job and suffer and keep it to themselves.
Kuliko report ni bora kwambia atatafuta kazi nyingine.
Instead of reporting to HR, they rather say they'll just find another job.
Yeah, that's the difference. That's the mentality. Wakati nilienda nikasema, kumbe African American wana work hard, which is true. Na wonjo wanafanya more work at work.
That's the realization I came to, that black Americans actually work harder and they work more.
Yeah, so I feel like you keep in a play part. Let's watch a little bit. That plays
a big part.
There's a job that maybe have math requirement. I feel like they'll pick an Asian person, or they believe, African Americans will not dress appropriate, so they will pick another person. They will always pick people that are not black over people that are black.
And I also think, I think the crucial missing point when we talk about economic disparity, time. Time is the most valuable currency. And if you have a stock that's the American dream is the stock, and during all that time, all that asset, the American dream was appreciating, and you're not allowed to take out business loans, you're not allowed to read, you're not allowed to write, you had to first fight to become 3/5 of a citizen, then you got Jim Crow, and then you got everything else. It's you're now having to buy in at a price so high because the time is irreparable. You can't get that back. One black person today cannot, in one lifetime, achieve what generations of white families were able to do simply because they didn't have to compete with us to do it.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. Like,
Yeah, I was thinking just like you said.
That's another point.
And that right there is another point.
Ukiangalia tofauti ya African American,
when you see the difference between an African
na
American
ukiangalia different ya African
and an African
na different ya mzungu.
and a Caucasian person,
Mzungu alizaliwa yani kuna opportunity.
a Caucasian person was born into privilege and opportunity.
Mwafrika iko ni mtu mwenye amepatiwa chance.
An African is someone that was given a chance.
Mtu mweusi African American,
A black American,
ni lazima waka twice than African ama mzungu.
a black American is someone that must work twice as hard or even harder than a Caucasian or an African
That's
person.
something sisi wa African are to realize.
And that is something us Africans don't realize.
Kuna vitu senye sisi, kuna some opportunity as African
There
we
are
get
some
it.
opportunities that us Africans get.
Tunapata African American is hard to get it.
We get those opportunities, but it's hard for an African American person to get
It's
those.
hard some things African American kupata in this country, like in but sisi was gonna be like quick we get it.
It's hard for a black American person to receive certain opportunities, but an African person
So
to get it.
when ukiangalia mtu mweusi lazima African American lazima work twice than African than mzungu.
When you see a black American, they must work twice as hard or even harder than a Caucasian or an African person.
First lazima kwa prove how good they are kwa hiyo
First, they
kazi.
must prove how good they are at their job.
Plus lazima wa prove wako professional kwa hiyo
Plus, they
kazi.
must also prove that they are professional.
Lazima wa prove wanajua kuongea.
They must also prove that
So
they
it's
know
a
how to
lot
speak.
of things wanabidi wajaze kwa jumla juu wakuje kuwa presentable the way Africa will present.
There are so many things that they have to go through to be presentable compared to what an African
So
person.
that's the thing in ability to understand, and that's why the main reason why I opened this channel.
That is something we must all understand, and that's the main reason why I opened this
I
channel.
want my people,
I want my people,
my African people,
my African people,
to understand African American work out of advantage.
to understand that African Americans don't have much advantage.
I know there's a stereotype kuko kitu yenyewe inaendelea wanasema mwi America you can do anything, nobody can stop you.
I know there's the stereotype in the phrase you can do anything in this country and no one can stop you.
That's not true.
That's not always true.
It depends what you can do.
It depends on what you can do.
Until now tunaongea kuna same place mtu mweusi hawezi nunua nyumba.
Till today, there are certain places where a black person can't buy a house.
Haijalishi kama uko mu Africa,
It doesn't matter if you're African.
kama uko African
It doesn't
American,
matter if you're African.
hawezi kununua mali hiyo nyumba hiyo same.
There are certain places where you cannot purchase a
So
house.
stuff kama hiyo ingaliki na exist until now.
So stuff like that still exists.
That's
till now.
why nime open hii channel.
That is why I opened this channel.
Is to show my Africans
Is to show my Africans
the way we think about African American.
the way we think about African
It's
Americans
not the way things equal.
is not the way things are.
Because you gotta understand the generation you may born around like 2000
Because you gotta understand the generation that was born around the 2000s.
all the way 2000 to all the way 2025 all the way to 2025
all the way till 2025.
2025 to work on a different mindset,
They have a different mindset.
work on a different view.
They have different views.
So I want watu wenyewe wa hii generation will understand different than our parent or may understand as African parent.
So I want us to this generation to understand a different perspective than our parents
That
did.
the same thing nilisema last video nilifanya last week in tag down, you can go watch on channel.
That's the same thing I talked about in the last video. You can watch it down below.
That's the first time I got in this country.
The first time I came to this country,
The thing ya kwanza nilianza kuambia ni stay away. It was
the very first thing I was told to do
not focus in school.
is to not.
Sikuambia
is to
kama
lose focus.
nilikaze kwa shule.
I wasn't told to focus on school.
Sikuambia kama nilikaze kwa sport.
I wasn't told to focus on sports.
Niliambiwa nikae stay away, nikae mbali na African American.
I was told to stay as far away from Black Americans as I can.
So that's why when I create each channel.
That's why when I created this channel.
I want some of watu wenyewe wanatoka Africa.
I want some people that come from Africa.
Wanatoka Nigeria.
That come from Nigeria.
Anywhere Africa.
Anywhere in Africa.
Especially people that speak Swahili.
Especially people that speak Swahili.
But in a different mindset.
To have a different mindset.
African American.
Black Americans.
And African.
And Africans.
We are all one people.
We are all one people. Si wote tuko wamoja.
We tunaenda the same challenge, lakini challenges zinazidiana.
We go through different challenges, but each challenge is different.
So that's why my main focus nataka.
That's why my main focus is.
Wakati mtu akisikia African American.
When someone hears the word African American.
I don't want you to think about worst thing.
I don't want you to think the worst.
I want you to think how kind they were.
I want you to think how kind Black Americans are.
How amazing people weko.
I want you to think how amazing Black
how
Americans
amazing
are.
wako na roho ya kupokea mtu.
How welcoming Black Americans
how amazing
are.
Wanaonesha mapenzi.
How Black Americans show love.
Sitaki uwe na narrative mkichwa kusema ni drug dealer.
I don't want you to have the narrative in your head that
Sitaki
they're
uwe na
drug
idea
dealers.
gisi mimi niliambiwa ni criminal.
I don't want you to have the same narrative I was told that they're criminals.
Nataka umuone iko.
I want you to see them as your
Juu
equal.
kimuona iko utamuonesha mapenzi.
Because if you see them as your equal, you will
wakati
show them
mtu
love.
anamdistreat, mtu anamuongea vibaya.
When someone mistreats a Black American or speaks badly of
na
them,
wewe utafeel the same thing.
you too will feel that hurt.
Utadifeel na wewe kama hiyo need to step up.
You will feel the need to step up.
Itabidi you share the same message.
It will require you to share the same message.
That's why mimi na deep sana nina focus with my community.
That's why I deeply focus on my community.
That's why nina focus on my community.
That's why I focus on my community.
And that's why my job right now as a Christian.
And that is the reason why my job as a Christian
is to build my community.
Is to build my community.
Yeah, so I need love in our community.
We need love in our community.
Na nataka watu appreciate African American because they've been in a lot.
I want people to appreciate Black Americans because they've been through a lot.
Waki appreciate Black American, I mean tapata chance ya get appreciated.
Because if they appreciate Black Americans, I too will get the chance to be
appreciated. Because kama atutie value mzuri kwa community.
Because if we don't show good values in our community,
hakuna mwingine ata step up for us.
Nobody else will step up for us.
So ni lazima si wenyewe tulishimamie.
So we must stand up for ourselves.
And stand up for our community.
And stand up for our community.
Yeah, let's just continue watching because hii video itakuwa more stopping a lot.
Let's continue.
Yeah.
From a historical standpoint, we start with slavery, then that's centuries, generations of stolen labor, like you said. Then we get into Jim Crow, which is just an extension of that. Then we have redlining, we have mass incarceration, we have events like the bombing of Tulsa and Rosewood in Florida and all these different examples of our wealth being decimated. And I don't say that to come from a defeatist or a victim mindset, but I think if we just have an honest conversation about history and what we've gone through when we've been here, racism is definitely a big part of that. And there are a lot of successful Black Americans, a lot of millionaires, a lot of, business owners, but they're exceptions for sure for a reason. And there's a big difference between income and wealth. I would like to challenge the ideal that African Americans are lazy or that we don't have a good work ethic. I think there's this perception that, we're...
Exactly. That's the thing nilikuwa naongelea.
Exactly, hicho nilikuwa naongelea.
No, we just speak English, don't worry. That ndio kitu nilikuwa naongelea.
That's the thing I was talking about.
That idea kusema African American ni lazy hawezi kufanya kazi.
The idea of saying that Black Americans are lazy and they can't work.
Hiyo idea iko sana msisi African.
That idea is in us African people's heads.
Tunafikiria African American they cannot do anything.
We think that Black Americans can't do anything.
Unajua hizi mabarabara tuko natembelea hizi freeway.
You know these roads that we drive on, for example, the freeways.
Hizi freeway mwenye walijenga ni African American.
The people that built those freeways are Black Americans.
So the Black American, there's a lot of things wamefanya. So if ikifika time African American in this country wanasema hawezi kutumika, I cannot blame them.
There are a lot of things that Black American people did. If it comes a time where Black Americans don't work, I wouldn't blame them.
Yeah, because ni watu wametumika for a long time.
Because they've worked for a long time.
Yeah, that's why sometimes ikibidi kulipwa wako na sheria kulipwa.
That's why when they want reparations, I understand why.
Yeah, ni hivyo.
We're in America, how are we not doing better for ourselves? So
I thought I was going to be the only one staying. I was going to be like, oh, I'm about to be like Kanye West. But okay, there's a lot of things we can use as an excuse to hold us back, to not to reach our potential. But it's up to us to look past that. You know, like me coming from Africa, I came here to better my life, my family. I'm the only one here. And since I have been here, there's a lot of bad things that happen to me. There's also a lot of good things that happen to me. Us African or African American, we need to like look past like racism and like just focus on our own goal. Like, what do we want to achieve?
That kuko shida.
Right there is the problem.
And that's the idea. Most of work on hizo idea.
A lot of people that have those ideas
is people from Nigeria.
Are people from Nigeria
and Ghana.
And Ghana.
They think that's why, because the reason why he says stuff like that.
The reason why he says stuff like that.
Because they did not suffer slavery.
Is because they did not suffer the pain of slavery.
The reason why anaongea
the reason why he talks like that. Is
because sijui nita explain aje.
I don't know how I'm going to explain it.
Na most watu wa kutoka Nigeria
and most people that come from Nigeria
na Ghana
and Ghana
weko na that mindset ya kufikiria African American weko I guess I can say wanalia sana.
They have the mentality that African Americans complain and cry too much.
That's the idea.
That's the idea.
And that's the thing in a surrender in the African community.
And that's the thing that surrenders within the African community.
Kusema slavery ishapita, people can just move on.
Saying that slavery already passed, people can just move on.
That's not how it works. That's not
how it works.
Sio gisi inatumika hivyo.
That's not how it works.
Hawezi tu, let me say nisemaje. Hawezi tu
You can't just
kunibia.
You can't just steal from me.
And then kuniambia tu samee tu juko Mkristo.
You can't just steal from me and tell me to just forgive because I'm Christian.
Yeah, so that's what I'm just saying. Like the idea kusema tu, oh, we gotta look past of it. Ishapita, slavery is that's a wrong message.
That's what I wanted to say. The idea of telling people that slavery already passed is the wrong message.
We need to stop using the word racism when we don't get something or when something don't go our way, and just keep trying, you know.
So let me jump in real quick. No disrespect, but racism exists, and I have to acknowledge it. And I can't just ignore it. But what I can do is not buy into the system. You know, if I want to do something, let me be the entrepreneur. What I believe happened in the 1960s is that we started looking for equal rights, to be equal with other people. And what we stopped doing, and I heard you talk about Tulsa, we stopped using the black-owned businesses. Now, because you guys got to understand, the Fair Housing Act in 1968, I'm 5 years old. That's when we could move off the east side of LA and move into other subcultures. So what I wanted to do at 8 years old was go to IHOP. I didn't want to go to the ma and pa restaurant anymore. I wanted to go to, let's go eat at the hotels. So what we did is stop supporting each other and started supporting corporate America. So the racism plays a major part, but we don't have to buy into it.
I've been waiting to disagree with you, my brother. I'm waiting patiently. The thing is, even though I want to disagree with you, I get where you're coming from. When I see black people talking about racism, all that stuff, I'm like, what is wrong with these people? You guys have food, you have EBT, all this thing, and you're...
You can say something too.
Okay, and that right there is the problem, that a lot of Africans have the mentality that black people are always complaining. Like, yes, I understand we have to be grateful for what we have here, but that doesn't make, being segregated against and being racially profiled okay. Like the mentality of telling other black people that they're complaining too much, they're ungrateful, just because you haven't experienced it, that doesn't make it any better.
I know. Yeah, I know. Nimesema hiyo kitu. A lot of
yes,
African,
a lot of Africans have that
tuko na hiyo mentality ya kusema watu.
All these people. And then a lot of the times when African people experience racism or being segregated, discriminated against, I guess we could say, they don't know what it is. They just think, oh, this person just doesn't like me.
Oh, yeah.
But no, the reason is because you're black. Or the reason why you didn't get that apartment could be because you're black, or that job.
The thing is, what they understand in that moment, they will probably think the guy have a bad day. They don't understand that's discrimination.
You're black.
Yeah,
or someone laughing in your face and you think they're smiling with you, but they're laughing at you.
Yeah, so that's a good point. That's just something in happen a lot.
And African people don't know that it happened to them. Wait, the best way I can explain it is Africans don't know when they're being discriminated against, which is also another problem. Or when a black American person complains, they're complaining too much until it happens to you, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying too. You can find that thing even in church. Unaipata
very much.
Yeah, unaipata hata mkanisa pia. Even ukifika mkanisa wa Afrika.
Yes. Even when those are certain things that happen in church, even when you go to an African church.
Ukiingia mkanisa wa Afrika, ukiona mtu mwenye iko tofauti na race ya Afrika, yani wanamshika. It's like, unajua the things yenye Afrika yenye lituua sisi.
When in African churches, when there is a person other than a black person, the thing that killed us in Africa is
kitu ilituua sisi Afrika ni kumfanya kama mzungu iko pure.
The thing that killed us in Africa was treating a white person, a Caucasian person, like they are pure.
Yani ana makosa yoyote.
Like they have no mistakes.
Yani bana believe ni mtu mwenye ko professional.
They believe that it's someone that's professional.
Na watu wanakomana hiyo. Now I understand why movie kama za Root.
Now I understand why movies like Roots.
They play Africa.
They don't play them in Africa.
Because mutu Africa kishaona reality how African American wanna get treated.
When someone in Africa sees the reality of how black Americans are treated,
akiona kabisa reality, because remember, we don't see this back at home.
When they see the reality, remember, we don't see this back home.
Nyumbani hawatuoneshi.
At home, they don't show us this. Wait, let me add. Yeah, this is why it's important to teach slavery in schools and stuff, so that we can all understand why, black Americans are always protesting, or as some of you may call it, complaining. Maybe if you would learn about slavery, you would understand why. Then until today, black people are still oppressed.
I know, but slavery.
But nobody wants to learn about slavery. They just say forget about it.
Black people protest wanasema ni wavivu hawataki kazi.
Oh, when you hear black people protest, you say that they're lazy, they just don't want to work.
Which in reality, ni vile understand anything about slavery.
But in reality, it's because you guys don't understand anything about slavery.
Time munasema tu ni watu wanahola na mentality ya zamani.
You don't take time to learn about it.
Munasema tu watu wana play victim. See a victim.
You say that people are just playing victims.
It's something happening until now.
It's something that happens until now.
Yeah, but it's something ya kufix kabisa.
Something to fix right now. And now I see why it's important that people learn about the Tulsa race massacre, the successful black community. Then you would understand why black people suffer until now.
Yeah.
And why the hood exists in the first place, and the ghetto, or whatever you want to call it.
But that's the thing. Most of African, they don't know about something like hood. Exactly. They don't understand that. It just
almost everything in this country is rooted with racism, whether it be picnics, clowns, watermelon.
All those things. The thing African are Jewy.
Yes.
All the things the African they don't understand. They don't see those views. They just see these people that are complaining too much, but that's not reality. Reality is just you don't know the truth. That's why I'm saying, please, I want people to subscribe and people to share this video so I can educate my community so they can understand why we need to be together. I'm not sitaki violence or any kind.
This is why people must understand and share these videos. And this is why we have these discussions. I don't want to spread any type of violence or hate towards any community. Because
I just want my people to understand how it's hard to be in someone's shoes.
I just want my people to understand what it's like to be in someone else's shoes.
Yeah, because this is Africa, we are really open, come African American too.
Because us Africans are just as open as Black Americans.
But we need someone that should stand up and saying the truth.
But we need someone to stand up and show the truth.
Yeah, that's the thing. Let's continue with the video.
Here shouting about somebody is racist too. Just leave that person and move on. I feel that way. Like, why are they always like complaining? But when Black Lives Matters started happening, like, I sat down, I said, I need to actually know why these people are pained. And if we look at the history, what they've done to them, like if you actually sit down, watch some documentaries, how they were maltreated, I don't think if I'm actually born, I will forgive those people. I don't care. It's easier for us Africans that were raised in Africa to feel like they're complaining because we were raised through struggle. Like I barely even have water, and you have water, you are complaining. But then it's not about the basic necessity or about how we are raised. We are raised like, I don't want to say way better. We might not have resources, but there are some way, like our own people will not look down on us or put us behind. So it's in they're nurtured that way. Like they just can't overlook it. And if you sit down and watch everything that the forefathers have been through for you, I changed my mind. No, they need to be angry. However, they should still move forward.
I mean, we have police brutality back home too.
True.
We have, like, if you go to Cameroon and then you see how the police officer treat us and they're Black just like us, you're not even gonna believe it, you know. And in Cameroon, we have this. Have you guys heard of the word like tribalism? So
yeah, it happens in Nigeria.
Yeah, so we do get oppressed too. And
I agree.
So when I'm saying like we need to like look past that, I'm not saying forget what happened to you guys or me. At the end of the day, we cannot just sit and just grieve on the past. We have to be able to move on, but not forget. If I could choose a place to live, it would obviously be my country. I love my country, but right now, my country is not the best choice for me. There's a little genocide going on in Cameroon right now. So many innocent lives have been taken. If I was still in my country, the opportunity that I have here, I would not have those opportunities there.
Hip-hop reinforces stereotypes about the Black community.
In South Africa, we have our own version of hip-hop, so we call it Kwaito. So they would rap in our own language, we call it Vernac. So back home, it kind of did reinforce some stereotypes because now when you go out in the world, people will just classify you under one group. And growing up, also looking at American entertainment, looking at the hip-hop that's done here, I'm like, oh, well, you're rapping about drugs, you're rapping about this. Of course it's going to happen. Of course you're going to go to jail. But getting older, you see the culture as well of hip-hop. I had to understand that there's a culture within that.
I was alive when hip-hop started, and it was during a time where people rapped about what they saw, what they wanted in life. And then it became where people rapped about what they had been through, what they had gotten over, used to sell drugs, used to hurt people, but now this is who they are. And I think it's gotten into now, and in our day and age now, it's where people are glorifying and wanting to pretend that these are the things that they do on a daily basis when it's not. So it went from storytelling to now really it's truly storytelling, but it's unhealthy for our culture.
I don't want to on my radio and all I'm hearing is, I put a bullet in something. Like, I'm like, eh? That's what you would do? No, like, and then it's like, it's all about like, talking about female body type, the booty, the thing, like don't talk about my booty like that. So I don't want to listen to something that portray me as a female that way, or something that is talking about how you put bullets in my head. Like if you actually do not come to America and see for yourself, you would think that most African Americans are carrying guns around and they just shoot randomly or they just grab your ass or something like that. That's the way the music portray them. And music is a very important element in our society because it influences a lot of people, both young and adult, and then they kind of see all those stuff and they act like that, even though that's not what they really want to be. They act like that and behave like that. Like if all these rappers are your role model, then you want to be like them. You want to be cool too. So in the end, it's about like the people that are packaging the music. And sometimes it's about trend, is what people want to hear.
The American dream is only for white people.
I believe that the American dream is only for white people because it says equal. And when we talk about equal, there's no equality between the 1%, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Trumps, and the people who really run the media and things of that nature. So for black people growing up in America and living in America, we could become rich, we could become wealthy, but we are not on the equal playing field of white America. The system of white supremacy, which is in the law enforcement, which is in the judicial system, which is in the prison industrial association, also in the politics. We are not equal in any of those terms.
When I was back there and when you were speaking, I started thinking like, could we ever actually, as black people, have the American dream here in America? And I don't know if we really can, I'm trying to be careful with my words, but I do think there needs to be a degree of separatism. Like black people, we really need to have our own to fully take part in that dream.
This is their system.
Yeah.
Why would we dream of being equal in a system that wasn't designed for us?
The American dream, at least the way that I define it, is, freedom of opportunity, freedom to choose what I want to do, freedom to acquire wealth the same way that anybody else can. Obviously, we're fighting the tides of time on that and our circumstances, but it's hard because it's hard to honor that, but then also want more for myself. And I think that as black people, we're always teeter-tottering on that line of like, well, am I American? Like, do I get the American dream, or do we just tear all this down and build something new? White people are not the only people entitled to the American dream ever. Yeah. And I think that that's why we're all here, because our ancestors made it so that we can stand here and pursue that American dream.
I wouldn't have been here if it meant that it was not for everyone. I wouldn't have even entered America. I feel like not just African, but other people as well in different countries. And from what I have seen, I've seen other people, even Africans and African Americans, succeeding in their own way. And that's why I feel like you said, you can interpret the American dream in a different way, whatever industry or whatever it is that you're focusing on, because there is a level of opportunity there. There is some way that you can be successful. Talking about Trevor Noah, who took over The Daily Show, it wouldn't have been possible for him coming in as an African. He got his American dream. It made us as well, other Africans, believe that it is possible.
The American dream writes his check. So he gets to have wealth or whatever it is that he's experiencing, but the American dream is the one who writes his check, not him.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But do you see how we would put it as he had his American dream, even though someone writes his check? But for him, or for some of us looking at it on the other side, that's his American dream, because his goal was to get there. The biggest cultural shock I saw coming here was definitely the lifestyle, because the lifestyle I saw of America, especially Los Angeles, was portrayed as a very rich lifestyle. And of course, I came here as a student, and coming here, living here, and seeing the reality of it, seeing different homeless people, disadvantaged people.
Yeah, that's another point that I say.
Yes, that's another point I was talking about.
In
Africa,
they don't show how American life it is.
They don't show the reality of how life is in America.
Africa
In Africa,
hatujuagi hata kama homeless ina exist in
we don't
America.
even know if homeless people exist.
That's
in
how
America.
good America iko Africa.
That's how good America is.
Afrika watu wana believe America mtu anapokeaga pesa.
In Africa, people believe that people in the US get free
Afrika
money.
mtu ana believe watu wanapokea. Unajua the thing yenyewe inasumbua.
You know the thing that bothers
It's the fact wanaongeanga vitu vya uongo.
is the fact that they tell us lies.
Wanatia propaganda
They
about
put propaganda
kuonesha how good this place is.
showing us how good life
Don't get
is
me
here.
wrong, this place is good. America iko sawa.
Don't get me wrong, things are good here in America.
But wanabipaka mafuta, yani wana make more shine.
But they sugarcoat it and make it look shiny.
Hiyo sasa wana make wanaonesha lifestyle hapa ni nzuri.
That they make it look like the life here is good and perfect.
Lakini wanaonesha lifestyle hapa ni nzuri.
They show that the life here is good.
But kitu yenyewe wanafanya,
But the thing that they do,
wanaonesha African American ndio criminal.
they show that black Americans are the criminals.
Wanapenda drugs.
The black Americans are the ones that like drugs.
Wanapenda pombe.
They like alcohol.
Wanapenda weed.
They like weed.
Wanapenda kushutiana.
They like to shoot each other.
That's the thing tunajua about black American.
That's what we know in Africa about black
Which
Americans.
that's the part wanaonesha.
And that's the part that they show
And
us.
that's the part mtu anakuja Africa tayari.
And that's the part that someone from Africa comes here.
Anakam na mentality ya kujua tayari African American they're criminal.
They come with the mentality that black Americans are criminals.
Because that's what we see in the movie.
Because that's what we see in the movie.
That's what we see in the music.
That's what we see in the music.
That's why music, that's why sister amesema hapa.
That's what this, like, for example, what this sister said.
Music ni big influence.
Music is a big influence.
Because tuna learn things kutokea music na movie.
Because we learn things from music and movies.
Because movie that yenye nimeona nimekomaa nikiona Denzel.
Because a movie that I've learned from, for example, a movie from Denzel.
Now not the movies are like wanaonesha black, you know, just kuonesha tu ile stereotypes. Hizo my types, you know, za gangs, watu wanakoma bila mama.
I see movies where they show, you know, the typical stereotypes of, you know, gangs, single mothers, children growing up without
tukiona
their parents.
movies za wazungu ni Spider-Man.
But when we see Caucasian people's movies,
Batman,
Spider-Man and Batman,
so we don't have any mindset ya mbaya.
we don't have a bad mindset.
The only mindset tuko nayo tunajua wazungu ni wabosi.
The only mindset we have is that Caucasians are.
Ingine mind tuko nayo African American ni criminal.
And another one is that black Americans are criminals.
That's the dream wanatuzishia.
That's the dream they sell to us. Another thing to add. Yeah, in the movies, for example, when they show a Caucasian family, it's always the mom and dad are in a happy marriage. They live in a suburban life, nice job, fancy house, fancy car.
Lakini ukiona movies za black ni ma drug dealer, get rape and stuff. So that's
or the black kid doesn't listen in school. He doesn't care about school. He wants to be a drug dealer or some other stuff.
That's the thing yenye tunaona.
Those are the things that we see.
And that's the mindset wanakoma nayo.
And that's the mindset that we grow up with.
Yeah, let's just continue the video.
Let's continue.
Was really a cultural shock for me because I didn't expect to see that. And I guess also the way people were handling each other, because coming in as an African, I thought people were together. But since being here, I saw that there was a huge divide, or there is still a huge divide within the African American community themselves.
If he had stayed in South Africa, would he have the...
Yeah, that's another good point my sister ameongea.
That's another good point this sister made.
One thing, you know, maisha.
One thing in life.
So mtu akwangi great always.
Someone cannot always be great.
The only thing yenye most Africans wanakwanga believe African American wana culture
is that black Americans don't have culture.
It's because aweko pamoja, they're not together.
It's because they are not together.
I'll give you example mzuri kama Somali.
I'll give you a good example like the Somali people.
Somali community.
The Somali community.
Mtu anaweza tembeza 20 miles.
Someone can drive 20 miles.
Ama 1 hour.
Or 1 hour.
Because aje shop kwa duka Somali.
So that they could come shop at a Somali person's
aje
store.
amununulie Msomali.
So that they could come and shop from a
But
Somali
the thing
person.
is, this African American,
But the thing is, us African Americans and
hakuna ule
Africans,
umoja,
there's no togetherness.
hakuna ule umoja kusapotiana.
There's no togetherness to support
That's the
each
only
other.
problem.
That's the problem.
Na ndio hiyo wanatia propaganda wanafanyaka kunyima watu na makazi.
And that's the propaganda that they spread around.
Siku African America watakuwa together,
The day that Black Americans are together
wanna build something together
and they build something together
as community,
as a community,
itakuwa something strong.
it'll be something strong.
That's something some African youth tungaliki na subiri. We can't wait that day.
That is something that some African youth are waiting for.
African American nako wana decide the wawe na own shops, and I know tukienda best in history wamesha jaribu a lot, but they always take the things down.
For Black Americans to have their own shops, I know that we've tried throughout history, but it's always getting taken down.
But if we give another shot to jaribu tena,
But if we get another shot to try again,
and this time do it together for real ya ukweli,
this time let's be together for real,
itakuwa vizuri sana
It'll be great
na itakuwa powerful.
and it'll be powerful.
Yeah.
Opportunity that he had here.
No.
Like, you know, so corporate is writing his check, but like us growing up, the reason we move here is because we don't have it better back home. Like for me, I'm the first person ever in my family in America. Everybody else is back home. Everybody's depending on me. Like, all of them, my mom, she's dying to come here. Like, she willing to do anything just for her to be in America. So for me, when I look at those like little things, I'm like, yeah, American dream is for everybody, you know? Like, yeah, we might not have the same opportunity as the white people, but there's still that little chance that a lot of us back home are willing to take just to get here.
I trust law enforcement.
Another thing to say.
All right, can the disagreeer step forward?
I got married to a young lady who did 15 years in prison for a robbery she didn't commit. I myself was incarcerated for 6 months for a burglary that I couldn't have committed because I was in prison. So in 1987, I'm doing 19 months in prison. When I came home in 1988, I was given a burglary charge and I had to sit 6 months. And the judge did not kick it out because there's no way I could have done it. He kicked it out because they didn't serve me the warrant while I was in prison. So I don't trust them. They lie and they do things and it affects our people. So many people I know who have been wrongfully arrested, wrongfully convicted, and they act.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah,
it still happens until now.
Yeah.
Even right now, as we speak, there's someone in prison for something they didn't do. A Black person.
Yeah. No. Tena njoo hiyo kitu yenyewe. I think hiyo naweza sema some of African people wameanza ku understand about that.
That is something that I could say that some Africans have came to understand.
Wame understand kuko police brutality.
They understand that there is police brutality.
Because we have a lot of things going on in our community too.
Because we also have a lot of things going on in our community.
Watu kuna get accused a lot as Congolese.
People getting accused a lot, especially Congolese.
With the things in Yawajafanya.
Getting accused of things they didn't do.
Yeah, so that thing kabisa is gonna happen.
So that thing is something that's happening.
Yeah, and then a lot of people wanna experience.
And a lot of people are experiencing
Me
it.
personally, sijawahi kuwa na any bad experience with the police.
I've never had a bad experience with the police.
And I don't have much kuongelea.
And I don't have much to speak.
Because I know there's a lot of injustice inaendelea about cops.
But I do know there's a lot of injustices.
I know a lot of my brothers and sisters may suffer because of that.
I know a lot of my brothers and sisters have suffered because
you can
of it.
even hear brother here gisiko nasema.
You could even hear how this brother is speaking.
Yeah, there's something that happened a lot, which is inaumiza sana.
It's something that is happening a lot.
A lot.
A lot.
Na ni kitu tuna knowledge tunajua iko na kabisa 100%. As African tuna understand that thing iko kwa African America. That's something that most African do not relate. Ni kuona the way treatment iko kwa mtu most because ina affect hata wenyewe.
And that's something that us Africans understand is happening to Black Americans because that treatment also happens to them.
Na ndio maana wana relate sana.
And that is why they can relate.
Yeah. So most of the time sitaki kublame ma African sana.
Most of the time I will not blame Africans.
It's because it's something hawakujua.
I just want to point out that it's something they didn't know.
It's something you need to not told different.
It's something that we were told differently.
It's something you wanna remember in something the picture wamesha print for so long time.
It's a picture that's been painted for such a long
To
time.
understand about African America, you have to live here for 5 years, 6 years.
To understand about Black Americans, you have to live here for 5 to 6 years.
You cannot understand it kama uko na 2 years in America, ama 6 months.
You cannot understand if you lived here for only 6 months or 2 years.
You have to live here for 5 years.
You have to live here for 5 years.
And more than 5 years.
Or more than 5
you
years.
You understand what's
then
going on.
Then you'll understand.
Oh yeah, let's continue.
You lie on the stand, so there's no trust.
As you guys know, I am from Richmond, Virginia. It was the capital of the Confederate. I have been brutally abused by the police there. Like, personally, I was at the river on the 4th of July. I don't smoke. I don't do none of that. The police come and arrest me because I look like a drug dealer. Like, they arrested me.
What? The stereotype?
Yeah, then when I was in high school, my senior year, my father went to jail over a car accident. And I was left alone at 17 years old. I was grateful. One of my teachers took me in and raised me. I try to stay away from the police as much as possible.
First of all, they're human beings, and I think that just because you put a badge on doesn't magically bewitch you with integrity and a desire to actually help the people around you. I think a lot of times police culture comes from police families. It comes from legacy lines and this whole culture about stuff. I mean, I don't trust them any more than I would trust any other person. They haven't earned that necessarily, especially not as an institution. In its purest form, I think it's necessary, but they have a lot of living up to that to do and to make up for if they're gonna be trusted.
I've seen law enforcement here on social media and seeing how they treat people of color, from hitting them. I mean, George Floyd, rest in peace, but just seeing that from my experience being here, I was scared, every time I'd see a cop pass by, I'm like, okay, I better make sure I'm driving okay, because I don't want to be stopped, or make sure you're not in any harm's way, but it's sad to feel that pressure every time you see a cop going by. And even if they're trying to help, but I wouldn't even want that help because of what I've been seeing on social media, and also seeing the case of people being wrongfully, taken to prison. That's unfair. What type of research are you doing before you arrest people?
And I immediately thought about the history of the police too, just tracing that back to slave patrols, which became our modern day police departments. And
the fact that if you have a felony, you can't vote. That to me is talk about the loss of the American dream. You are a citizen of this country. You should always have a right to vote.
We are obsessed with race in America.
I think that word obsessed is such an interesting word, and I think that the way that question is framed is almost as if it's the onus is on us, we're obsessed with race too much. No, white people are obsessed with race in this country. They've made their laws based on it. They've cast us out because of it. They've destroyed entire groups of people because of it. So, I mean, we're just living in the ripple effects of the stones that were cast in the pond of history. So we're just reacting to it. So we would rather just be human beings and American citizens and people that are pursuing an American dream. We'd rather not have to think about race, but we did not draw first blood on that.
What else do you expect?
Yeah, I'm not obsessed.
Yeah.
For me, being in America gave me an opportunity to meet and discover so many different cultures that I would never see if I was in my country. I would just maybe hear about it on the news. Yes, I agree. I think they are very obsessed with race. Even when you do an easy application, it doesn't matter what application you do, they want to know your race. They want to know, why they don't have a category for Africans?
Exactly.
You know?
That's why I be checking out there every time.
They want to know everything.
The thing that pissed me off the most is that when they see you and they be like, oh.
Okay, I guess we're gonna stop hapa, tamalizia hapa.
Okay, I guess we shall finish from here.
And if you want to see the full video, you can go watch it on the channel.
If you want to see the full video, you can watch it on the Jubilee channel.
Yeah, that's it. Tunaishia hapa.
We will stop here for now.
Please usisahau to subscribe
Don't forget to subscribe
and then comment
and comment
and please share so we can help our
and
community.
share and like so that we can help our community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.